All right, let's talk about Tesla, because something massive is happening with one of the most watched companies on the planet. They are betting their entire future not on making better cars, but on becoming a full-blown AI superpower. This is their next chapter, and it is a huge one.
And this pivot, it just raises this huge obvious question, right? It's the one we're really digging into today. Why on earth would Tesla, a company that literally redefined the electric car, start walking away from the very thing that made it a household name?
And look, this isn't just talk, this is real. The company has officially announced it is killing production of its two premium flagship cars, the Model S and the Model X. It's a shocking move, and as we're about to see, it's definitely not happening in a vacuum.
Okay, so let's get into it. To really understand why they're going all in on AI, you first have to see the cracks that have started to show up in their main business, the cars. And yeah, the numbers, they tell a pretty dramatic story. Get this. For the first time in a long time, Tesla's annual revenue actually went down. Now, a 3% decline might not sound like a catastrophe, but for a company that has been defined by nonstop insane growth, it's a huge red flag. The party might be slowing down. But here's where it gets really eye-watering. That little dip in revenue, it was nothing compared to the hit they took on profits. In the final quarter of the year, profits absolutely cratered, plunging by a staggering 61%. I mean, that is a massive drop that signals some serious trouble. And here's a big piece of that puzzle. The competition. It's not just coming, it's here. In January of 2026, China's BYD officially snatched the crown from Tesla as the world's biggest EV maker. Suddenly, Tesla isn't the only game in town anymore, not by a long shot. So what do you do when your revenue is dipping? Your profits are in a nosedive, and the competition is breathing down your neck. Well, if you're Tesla, you don't just try to build better cars. You pivot. Hard. You decide to build a whole new identity, one that's less about wheels and all about artificial intelligence. So what does this AI-powered future actually look like? Well, it's built on a few key things you see here. We're talking humanoid robots, their own custom-built chips, massive neural networks. I mean, they're literally creating the entire ecosystem from the ground up, all in-house. And right at the very heart of all this is Optimus. This is not some little side project, okay? They are literally retooling the factory that used to make the top-of-the-line Model S and X to build this robot. A robot you can't even buy yet. That tells you everything you need to know about where their priorities are now. And their whole strategy here, it's all about owning every single piece of the puzzle. They're not outsourcing anything. They design their own chips. They use the data from millions of their cars already out on the road to train their AI, and then they deploy that brainpower into new things, like Optimus.
And you've heard Elon Musk talk about this, right? He calls it an epic future. And he's not wrong about the scale of the ambition. But as you're about to find out, an epic future, well, it comes with an equally epic price tag and some pretty epic risks.
Right, because this whole epic future thing, it is nowhere near a sure bet. In fact, you could say it's an enormous, bet the entire company kind of gamble. And it's one that has a lot of people, investors, analysts, even customers, pretty nervous.
I mean, just look at the money they're throwing at this. We're talking a $2 billion investment into Musk's other AI company, xAI. And that's just a drop in the bucket. On top of that, they're planning to spend another $20 billion to fuel this AI push. That is a staggering amount of cash.
Now, you'd think for a bet this big, the shareholders would be all on board, right? Well, not exactly. The reality is, they're split. When they voted on that xAI investment, only 38% said yes. If you add up the no votes and the people who just stayed out of it, they actually outnumber the supporters. That is, not a ringing endorsement.
Which makes this quote from Elon Musk really fascinating. He basically said, hey, a lot of investors asked for this, we're just giving the people what they want. But, we just saw the numbers. The actual vote tells a very different story. And all of this really boils down to one critical question that analysts keep asking. Is Tesla making a classic, huge mistake? Are they getting so obsessed with the shiny new thing, the future of AI, that they're forgetting to take care of the car business that's, paying all the bills right now? Okay, so this isn't just some high-level boardroom drama. This massive bet has real-world effects, not just for Wall Street, but for anyone who owns a Tesla or is maybe thinking about buying one. This is about what it means for you. And it really makes you ask the question that's probably on the mind of every Tesla owner. Are the customers, the people who bought into this whole vision in the first place, the ones who are ultimately paying the price for this grand AI dream?
Well, the most immediate impact is on choice, or, the lack of it. With the Model S and Model X getting the axe, the lineup is getting a lot smaller. For a lot of buyers in the US, your options are basically the Model 3 and the Model Y now. That might make sense in a spreadsheet, but it's not great for a driver who wants more options.
And that gets to what might be the biggest risk of all in this whole thing. This is a company that completely blew up the car industry by doing things differently. But now, in the race to build the next big thing, you have to ask, are they forgetting why people fell in love with their cars in the first place? So where does that leave us? Tesla is pushing all its chips to the center of the table, betting everything on becoming an AI and robotics giant. If they pull it off, they could change the world all over again. But if they don't, it could become one of the biggest cautionary tales in business history. An AI superpower or a story of a pioneer that just lost its way? I guess we're all about to find out.